Welcome back for another interesting session. Today's topic is going to be very, very, very interesting, and a lot of festivities are there and a lot of happiness around us. I'm talking about Holi, and I'm also talking about International Women's Day, which is coming 2 days from now. So, as usual, I just thought I'll use only one single frame or single screen to explain the whole thing. So, every woman is very beautiful indeed, and they are a perfect example of God's blessing. Because of them, most of the families and most of the generations, most of the societies, and most of the countries are flourishing. So I think this is a time for them. I think we have to be very gratitude to all the women in our life, whether it's going to be our mom, or whether it's going to be our sister, or whether it's going to be our spouse, or whether it's going to be our daughters, or whether it's going to be our daughter-in-laws, or whether it's going to be our friends. I think we need to be gratitude to them. So I just thought, let me take this opportunity to share some of what I have observed in the last couple of years. As usual, let me go through the images. So in case if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Point number one. And point number two, very recently, I talked about another interesting topic on how do you generate a 10 crore net worth. In case if you have not seen that particular video, please see that video. So, as usual, I'm going to start with something called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. In that, Stephen Covey, the author, talks about the number one habit for people to be very successful in life is called as being proactive. In life, we have a choice either to be reactive in nature or whether to be proactive in nature. He says all the highly successful people or highly effective people, their number one quality is being proactive. And by and large, most of the women are proactive. The whole thing is very, very proactive. Now, at the same time, what I have also observed is that when you talk about this, there's a three beautiful images are there, in the I would say right hand side bottom corner. So we talk about Goddess Saraswati, we talk about Goddess Lakshmi and Goddess Parvati, right? So there are three things which is very, very important. First thing is when you talk about Goddess Saraswati, which is in the middle, we all talk about knowledge and education. Unfortunately, what I've also observed is that is after some point in time, most of the women stop reading. So my suggestion is that is we are now talking about Amazon Kindle, we are talking about YouTube, university. I will call YouTube as an university because you can learn so many things from there. You can do a smart search and then do. For example, you can say a book summary and then you can learn about a lot of things. So my suggestion is that is most of the people should keep learning. That's what is very, very important. Similarly, on the rightmost corner, you will see Goddess Parvati. What I'm talking about here is very beautiful. They should come with a lot of energy, maybe 1 hour a day, or 35 minutes a day, or 40 minutes a day. I think they should do some exercise and then they should take care of themselves. So the best gift that they can give to their spouses or to their family is by taking care of themselves, and this is equally applicable to men. Okay, so that is very, very important. But if you see the other, this one is about is called as Goddess Lakshmi. So unfortunately, I'm seeing not many people are not very good in finance. When I say if I talk to let's say 10 people, maybe three or four are extremely good in finances. But when it comes to numbers, or when it comes to crunching Excel sheets and all that stuff, or understanding the various financial products, they'll say maybe 50% of them or 40% of them say they say they're not very interested in it. So I'm going to give a solution to them as well, right? Before that, there's one more picture is there. It's called Koluvu Srinivasa. Which is an idol in Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, TTD. I keep going there regularly. And one of the beautiful thing is that is even today, this is one of the richest temple in South India. In fact, in India, or in fact in the whole world, one of the richest. If you talk about top 10 temples, richest temples in the world, one of the temple will be Tirumala TTD temple. Even today, every day morning at 5:30 in the morning, they do something called to the Koluvu Srinivasa, that idol. They'll go and say what happened the previous day in terms of their finances. So how many pilgrims came, what was the donations received, how much was the hundial collection. It's basically how much is the hundial collection, how much was spent. So even a rich temple, there is a process is there, and they are following it after so many decades and centuries, right? So all that I'm trying to say is I can't expect all the women and men who are going to watch this video please start reporting what happened yesterday. Luckily, if you ask me, what I am trying to do is I am keeping more than 99% of my transaction digital. What do I mean by digital is for most of the things I use credit card. So for most of the things I use GPay, or I use something called fund transfer. So I don't go to the bank, most of the things are there. So all the transactions gets recorded. Only very few transactions. For example, I go to the petrol bank and then try to fit some air and all that stuff. There I can't swipe a credit card. So for 10 rupees, for 10 and 20 rupees, I'll not be able to do a lot of things. So those kind of things, yes, there are some cash is there. So that means maintaining accounts becomes very, very easier. Now today, all the inflows are coming only through through checks or through ECS and credits and all that stuff. It's very easy to maintain. So Kolu Srinivasa is very I remembered that, so I just thought I'll share it with you. Okay. So for goddess Lakshmi, a lot of people will come back and say, Senthil, I don't know anything about all these things. How you are going to help me out, right? So for all those things that you want me to help me out, I've created a small course. That course runs over 8 small bite-sized videos. And if you add all the 8 videos together, maybe the video content is 2 hours. So what I just thought is I'll offer this as free, not forever. Maybe for 2 or 3 days, I'll offer it as free. So what you could do is in the description of this particular video, there will be a link will be there. You open that particular link and then fill up the 2 or 3 data points. We will share the data with you. So most of the images here are covered. But having said that, I just thought I'll share some more thing with you. There's one more band, on top of right hand side top corner, you'll see a band. It says few things I learned after Mithun. And this particular blog has been seen by close to 29,000 people so far. Now, life is very, Benjamin Franklin talks about two things are very certain in life. He says that taxes are certain and death is certain. We'll never know, what is going to happen to one person. And if you see the first 3 lines of that particular thing, what you will see is bad things, sometimes it happens, some bad things come. And then even a chartered accountant, a person I'm talking about here, let's say a person is XYZ and then she's a chartered accountant. Even in spite of being chartered accountant, she went through a lot of things. So what I've done is I've created a blog. I've reposted the entire blog. So that's where my website is there. www.avsenthil.com is there. You go to that website, go to the blog and read the very first blog. So what you will see is you will get a lot of tips. Please understand all these things doesn't take a hell lot of time from you. It all takes maybe 30 minutes and 45 minutes. So I'll also give you 1 or 2 more case studies for you, to inspire you to do all these things. So first thing is I would like to give a case study about an NRI. Now here the spouse is is a let's assume that he's a US citizen or an Australian citizen or a Hong Kong citizen or a Briton or something like the Brit. Okay. So now, he has found a spouse in India, and what happened is he started multiple companies, right? Now, to start a company, you need to have a director here and preferably a local address and all that stuff. The spouse started signing a lot of documents. All the documents he started signing without understanding the implication of it. Now, over a period of time, they got into trouble. In the sense that when I say they got into trouble, I'm talking about debts. So they borrowed a lot of money and then they were not able to repay the debts. And another famous case is called Cafe Coffee Day, right? CCD. Now what happens is it's very, very important that our spouse needs to be informed very clearly, what is happening and then how you are coming out of it. Otherwise, there will be some things will be happening. So I'm saying that learning finance, managing finance is not rocket science. It's very, very easy and it's very, very simple. So all that I'm asking you is go to the video description of this, go to the link and then click it and then do it. Beyond that, we'll also do one more session for you to understand the whole thing. Okay. Thank you very much. Enjoy your entire holy celebration and happy Women's Day to each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.